Time today for our last SIGDIG lesson. This is on multiplying and dividing. Our learning target is I can multiply and divide using SIGDIGs. You need to make sure you write down these notes or put them into your iPad, iPhone, Android, whatever it is you're using as usual. Because if you don't have some kind of notes, then it never happened. So let's get ready to wrap this lesson up. There's only one rule for multiplying and dividing using SIGDIG. So that's all you have to have is what's on the screen as far as notes, and you're going to want to have your example problems down. The least number of significant figures in any number of the problem determines the number of significant figures in the answer. This time we're going to include the whole number. Remember when we did decimals, we didn't look at that whole number. This time we definitely want to make sure we count the total number of significant digits in each number of the problem to determine how many will be in the answer. We're going to start easy. Remember, we're not too worried about the actual math because I'm letting you do a calculator. So I've already worked the problem out using a calculator. That's not going to be a problem. And if you don't have one in class, I'm going to give one to you. I'm not looking at that part. I'm looking at finding the number of significant digits. Now make sure you're using your calculator right. Check your numbers a couple of times. But as long as you're doing that, I don't have a problem. Now we're going to count the number of significant digits in each part. This part has 2. Remember, we're including the whole number this time. This part has 3. So I'm going to go with the lowest number, which is this is the 2. So we're going to come over here, start way over on the far left, as far as I can go. Here's 1 digit, 2 digits, and I'm going to cut this one off. But I do have to use this to tell whether or not I'm going to round up or leave it the same. Since this is 5, this is going to round up, so my answer is 8.6. We need to look at one like this together so that when you have to do it in class, you're not going to freak out quite as much. We're going to look at this problem. We've got it all worked out, so we're going to go ahead and count the number of significant digits. Remember that a trailing 0 in a decimal does count, so I have 1, 2, 3 significant digits here. And this one I have 1, 2, 3, 4 significant digits. I use the smallest number of significant digits, which is the 3. I start as far over on the left as I can go, so 1, 2, 3. But I have to go way over here into the decimal and look at this 6, and the 6 is going to make the 5 round up. So the answer is going to be 376. Just like that. Let's take a look at one with 3 numbers to multiply. I already have that all worked out for you. Let's count the number of significant digits. This part has 3. This part has 4. And this one has 2. We go with the smallest number of significant digits, which is the 2. Now this one's going to work the same. We have one small problem, but I think we can handle that. Starts over as far to the left as we can. 1, 2. We look back here to see what to do with this number. Well, this is a 9, and this is 7. So 7 is going to make the 9 round up. So we have to go up 1 more. Of course, if we go up 1 more from 29, we're going to get 30. That's not as hard as it looks. Now there's no difference between doing these multiplying and dividing, but I do want to look at something in this particular problem. So we get our answer, all nicely divided out for us, and we count the number of significant digits. What you have to remember is these little darlings here are not significant because they're at the end of a whole number. So the only significant digit here is that 7, so there's only 1. Over here on the after the division sign, we have all of those, so that's 3. So the smallest number of significant digits here I have is 1. come down in my answer. Well, that's easy. There's the 1. The problem is you all want to write 1 and stop, and I can't do that. This part right here isn't just 1, it's 1,000. So I have to take care of this, which means, and besides, I can't do that anyway because this is a 5. So this is actually going to be a 2. Okay? So it's going to be 2,000. I'm going to round to 2,000, not to 2. So in these places here where I have these numbers, I'm going to put a 0. Remember, those zeros aren't significant anyway. So I still only have 1 significant digit in my answer. One last one like this, just so we have it. Make sure that we understand it. Remember, I'm not expecting you to have all this down pat. You come into class tomorrow, we're going to work on them again, so we'll be cool with it. Okay, problem is all worked out. Now we count the number of significant digits. Again, zeros trailing in a whole number are not significant, so there's really only 1. Now, for those of you who are already noticing, I don't have to count really over here because 1's the smallest number of significant digits I can have in any number. So, don't really have to, but let's go ahead anyway. This trailing 0 is in a decimal, so it does count, which gives me 3. You're going to want to have those rules in front of you so you don't forget. Okay, so now we look at our answer so we can get this all sorted out. I only need 1 digit. That will be this one right here. I have to look back at the 8 to know whether to leave it or to round it. And since that is an 8, and 8 is greater than 4, I'm going to round up. But I cannot leave this at 4. 38 will not round to 4. 38 will round to 40. So I put a 0 there where that 8 is, just to take that space. Remember that 0 isn't significant at the end of a whole number. So I still only have 1 significant digit. And I'm done. So let's look at this one more time. Make sure that you understand what we've been looking at, what we're saying. Multiplying and dividing sig digs is different. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. I didn't make the rules. From adding and subtracting, we're going to count all digits to find the number of sig digs to use, not just in the decimal. And we're going to use the smallest. That's the thing that's the same. Alright. Now, let me warn you, we've now covered everything we need to do with sig digs, so more than likely it might be a good time to review, because more than likely there's going to be a there's going to be a test. Yes, that's what there's going to be. So go over your notes, get everything organized, come to class tomorrow, ready to work through some of these problems. See ya. Bye.